Do you ever feel like you're not enough unless someone tells you that you are? Like your life only feels right when someone is around to validate your choices, your feelings, your worth? If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Because the truth is, depending on others to feel good about yourself will keep you stuck. You'll hold back your potential. You'll hesitate. You'll stay quiet when you should speak. This isn't about pushing people away. It's about building a life where you don't fall apart when you're alone. It's about becoming mentally strong, emotionally stable, and completely in control of your path. We're going to talk about how to break free from emotional dependence, stop chasing validation, and learn to fully live for yourself. If you've ever felt overlooked, misunderstood, or emotionally drained by people who never show up for you, don't go anywhere. What you'll learn today can change your entire mindset. Number 1, take control of your life without waiting for approval. That's where it begins. That's where everything starts to change. Not when someone tells you it's your time. Not when people clap for you. Not when they recognize you. It begins when you make a quiet decision inside, when you tell yourself, this is my life, and I am responsible for it now. Too many people waste years waiting for someone to validate them, waiting for someone to say they're good enough, waiting for a relationship to complete them, waiting for their family to support their dreams. But what if that approval never comes? What if they never understand you? What if they never see what you see? Does your life stop because of that? You don't need anyone's permission to grow. You don't need anyone's applause to be proud of yourself. You don't need the world to say go ahead before you make the move. You're not a child anymore. You're not someone who needs to be picked. You're not a project for people to fix or shape. You're the one who has to pick yourself every day. That's the truth. When you wake up in the morning, no one feels your body like you do. No one knows how tired you are. No one hears your thoughts. No one knows your quiet worries. And no one will live with the consequences of your decisions like you will. This is why it's your job, your responsibility, to take control. Waiting for approval means living under someone else's timeline. It means giving them the remote control to your life. It means letting others decide when you move, when you stop, and how far you go. And here's the problem. Most people don't even know what they want for themselves. So how can they decide for you? You want to feel proud of your progress. Take action that aligns with what you value. You want to stop feeling like you're behind. Stop comparing your journey with theirs. You want to feel confident again. Make decisions that come from your own truth, not their opinions. You'll be surprised how much power you've been giving away. You gave it to friends who never supported you. You gave it to family who didn't understand your dreams. You gave it to people who said they knew better, but were just scared themselves. And every time you waited for them to approve, you slowed down your life. Not because you weren't ready, but because you were too afraid to move without applause. It's time to shift that. Not slowly, right now. Start by asking yourself, what do I want, really? Don't filter the answer based on what your parents want, what your partner expects, or what your friends think is cool. Ask yourself honestly, what do you want? What kind of life would make you feel alive? When the answer comes, even if it's quiet, listen to it. That voice inside your inner knowing, it's real, it's honest, it's not pretending. And for once you need to stop pushing it aside, just because others don't understand it. Most people live half lives. They play small, they hold back, not because they can't go further, but because they're afraid of what others will say if they do. Approval becomes a prison. The fear of judgment becomes a wall. And before they know it, years go by, and they haven't done anything for themselves. Don't be that person. Take full control of your time. That means looking at your schedule and asking, am I spending time on things that move me forward? Or am I just doing what others expect? Take full control of your energy. If being around certain people always drains you, it's your job to create distance. If certain places or habits keep pulling you down, it's your job to make changes. Nobody is going to do that for you. People might feel sorry for you. They might offer advice. But at the end of the day, it's still your life. When you take control, something changes. You begin to walk differently. You breathe deeper. You don't panic when someone disapproves. You stop trying to fit into places that don't feel right. You stop explaining yourself so much. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You become rooted in yourself. And that feeling is rare. but it's everything. Some people won't like it. That's the truth. The moment you stop needing approval, you stop being easy to control. You stop being easy to predict. You stop being easy to manipulate. People will say you've changed. They'll say you've become distant. But that's not your problem. You're not living to make everyone else comfortable. You're living to become who you were meant to be. And growth is uncomfortable. It hurts sometimes. It's lonely sometimes. But it's real. It's solid. And it gives you peace that approval can never give. Approval is addictive because it feels good in the short term, but it leaves you empty long term. It makes you chase more of it. And no matter how much you get, it's never enough. You'll find yourself posting things just to see who likes it. You'll dress a certain way just to fit in. You'll say yes to things you don't care about just to avoid judgment. And that kind of life, it wears you down, slowly, quietly, until one day you don't even recognize yourself anymore. Don't wait for the world to choose you. Choose yourself. Speak for yourself. Stand for yourself. Show up for yourself when nobody claps, when nobody notices, when nobody understands. That's the kind of person who becomes unshakable. And here's something important. When you stop chasing approval, you get something much better. Self-respect. That's the real reward. You start to trust yourself. You start to rely on your own judgment. You become someone who doesn't need permission to try, to fail, to win, to change. Even when it feels hard, even when your voice shakes, even when your hands sweat, move forward. You don't owe anyone your comfort. You don't owe anyone your silence. And you certainly don't owe anyone your future. You owe it to yourself to try. You owe it to yourself to be honest. You owe it to yourself to stop living for other people's opinions and start living for your truth. You'll make mistakes. You'll upset people. You'll lose some relationships. That's real. That's part of the process. But what you gain is worth it. You gain clarity. You gain freedom. You gain strength. And most importantly, you gain a sense of peace that only comes when you're finally living life on your terms. So take a breath and make the decision. You're not asking for permission anymore. You're not explaining yourself anymore. You're not waiting to be chosen. You're choosing yourself. If someone supports you, good. If they don't, you move forward anyway. If they celebrate you, great. If they don't, you keep building anyway. If they come with you, that's fine. If they don't, that's fine, too. Because your life is not a group project. You're responsible for it. And no one else can carry that weight for you. There's no perfect time to start. There's no moment where everything feels right. You have to move with doubt. You have to act with fear still in your chest. You have to walk even when your legs shake. Because waiting for everything to feel easy is how dreams die. Take control. Take it now. Even if it's messy. Even if you don't have all the answers. Even if nobody claps. Take control. Because your life depends on it. You were not born to live in someone else's shadow. You were not born to stay small, to keep others comfortable. You were born to live with fire, with purpose, with freedom. That freedom begins when you stop living for approval and start living with direction. So do the thing you've been thinking about. Say the truth you've been holding in. Go after the goal you keep pushing aside. And if no one claps, clap for yourself. If no one says they're proud, look in the mirror and say it yourself. You deserve to live fully. You deserve to feel alive. And you deserve to do it now. Not later. Not someday. Right now. This is your life. Take control of it. Without waiting for anyone to say go. You already have the green light. Now move. Number 2. Build your confidence by doing things completely alone. You build real confidence when you stop depending on others to do what you should be doing for yourself. Real confidence is not loud. It's not about pretending to be strong. It's built slowly, in silence, when no one's watching you. And when no one is around to give you praise. Confidence is built when you make the decision to face things alone. Even when you're scared, even when you feel unsure, and even when your hands shake. Most people don't have confidence because they always look around for someone to walk with them. Someone to hold their hand, someone to tell them they're doing it right. They're afraid to go to the restaurant alone. They're afraid to move to a new city unless a friend is going with them. They're afraid to start something new unless people support the idea. They want a team. They want backup. But here's the truth. If you always need someone beside you to take action, then you'll never be strong on your own. Confidence doesn't grow from comfort. It grows from effort. You learn who you are when you do hard things without asking for help. You learn what you're capable of when you face something you've never done before, and you go through it without calling 10 people to make you feel ready. You don't need someone beside you to take that course. You don't need a group to go to the gym. You don't need company to walk into a room with your head high. And you don't need to wait for someone to give you permission to get serious about your life. The people you look up to, the ones who seem to carry themselves with strength, they didn't get that from always having support. They got that strength from struggle, from being alone in moments where most people would quit, from facing things that didn't make sense at the time, but taught them something powerful. You build confidence when you stop making excuses, when you stop telling yourself that you need someone to motivate you. You don't. You have your own mind. You have your own voice. You have the ability to speak to yourself in a way that lifts you instead of weakens you. And if you've been tearing yourself down, it's your responsibility to stop doing that. You need to show up for yourself the way you expect others to show up for you. If you want to feel strong, you have to do the things that scare you. If you want to trust yourself, you need to take action, even when you feel unsure. If you want to believe in yourself, you need to prove to yourself that you don't quit when it's hard. People think confidence means walking into a room and owning it. But confidence is built before you even walk into the room. It's built in the quiet moments when you show up, even though you're tired. It's built when you take care of yourself without needing to post it online. It's built when you look in the mirror and see someone who doesn't run from discomfort. Every time you do something completely alone, you send a message to yourself. That message says, I'm not afraid to be responsible for my own life. That message says, I don't need a crowd to believe in myself. And over time, those small actions start to change how you see yourself. Not because someone said you're good enough, but because you know deep down that you didn't give up. Start doing things by yourself. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit with your thoughts without distractions. Plan your week based on what you want, not based on what others expect. Learn to be your own source of strength. Learn to comfort yourself when no one texts back. Learn to keep your energy strong when no one notices your effort. Because if you can hold yourself up when you're alone, nothing outside of you can break you. You build confidence when you stop waiting to be saved. When you stop waiting to be invited. When you stop wishing someone would just show up and help. That's not how growth works. Growth doesn't come when it's easy. Growth doesn't come when you have a safety net. It comes when you realize you're the only one who can carry yourself through the mess and the beauty of your life. Don't underestimate what you can do just because you're doing it alone. Some of your biggest breakthroughs will come when you're in a room by yourself, feeling completely uncertain, and you still choose to move forward. You still open the laptop. You still write the plan. You still go for that run. You still apply for that job. You still face the fear. And every time you do, you build something inside of you that no one can ever take away. You won't always feel confident before you act, but confidence comes after the act. It comes after the risk. It comes after the moment when you do something without needing reassurance, and that's what people get wrong. They wait to feel confident before they move. But it's the movement that creates the feeling. It's the act of doing the thing without a support system that teaches you that you never needed one to begin with. You need to be able to sit with your own silence. You need to know how to get through the hard days when no one checks in. You need to learn how to speak to yourself in a way that keeps you going when everything feels heavy. Because if your only source of strength is other people, then you'll always be weak when they walk away. Confidence doesn't come from others lifting you. It comes from lifting yourself repeatedly. Until one day you realize you don't fall the same way anymore. You handle things better. You think more clearly. You recover faster. You stop doubting every decision. You stop second-guessing your worth. Do the hard things alone. Go to that event without a friend. Try the new skill even if you might fail. Say what you need to say even if it makes people uncomfortable. Because if you always wait to be surrounded before you move, then you'll never know what you can really do when it's just you and your decision. You don't need to isolate yourself to grow. You just need to stop depending on others to validate your every move. The more you rely on others to hold your hand, the more you limit your own growth. And the day will come when no one is available. And if you haven't practiced standing on your own, you'll collapse. But if you've trained yourself to act independently, you'll rise even when the support is gone. Doing things alone teaches you discipline. It teaches you focus. It teaches you how to listen to your own voice and trust it. It shows you that your fears are not walls. They're just tests. And every time you go through them, you come out stronger. You have to understand something. Your life is yours. Not everyone will understand your path. Not everyone will walk with you. Not everyone will agree with your decisions. But they don't have to. If you know what you're doing, and if you're building yourself with intention, that's enough. You don't need a constant audience to become something great. You don't need to document your every step. You don't need to convince anyone. You just need to take one step forward, alone, with full responsibility, with full commitment, with a mindset that says, even if no one claps for me, I will still go. That's what separates the average from the powerful. The people who succeed long-term are not always the most talented. They're not always the smartest, but they have something rare. They have the ability to do what needs to be done without waiting for someone to push them. They wake up and decide. They move with purpose, even in silence. And when you have that, nothing can stop you. So stop thinking you're not ready just because you're alone. That feeling of being unsure is normal. But confidence isn't about removing all fear. It's about acting anyway. It's about walking into the gym, into the office, into the classroom, into the unknown, and doing what needs to be done, whether someone holds your hand or not. If you want to grow, you must go through the discomfort of standing alone. If you want to build confidence, you must face situations that force you to lean on yourself. No shortcuts, no tricks, just effort, repetition, ownership. So go out there. Go to that cafe alone. Sit down and plan your future. Take a walk and think about what you want. Stop hiding behind the crowd. Stop blending in just to feel safe. Your life deserves to be lived fully. And the only way that happens is if you build yourself up from the inside out. Confidence starts with the decision to stop waiting and start becoming. No one can do that for you. And you don't need them to. You already have what it takes to be strong. You just need to prove it to yourself. Alone. Starting today. Number 3. Choose your peace over people who drain you. Peace is something you earn. It's not given by the world. It doesn't show up by accident. You don't stumble into it. You create it, you protect it, and sometimes you have to fight for it. And one of the hardest battles you'll ever face is choosing your peace over people who disturb it, even when those people are close to you. You're not responsible for fixing people. You're not here to carry someone's emotional weight at the cost of your own mental and emotional well-being. You are not doing the world a favor by allowing people to drain you. You're not helping anyone by staying in environments where you're constantly walking on eggshells, shrinking yourself, or trying to maintain peace with people who thrive in chaos. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The people who always bring tension into the room. The ones who never listen to you. The ones who expect more than they give. The ones who make everything about them. The ones who never ask how you're doing, never notice when you're struggling, but expect you to show up for them every time they need something. Those people will take every bit of your energy and leave you empty, and they'll still expect more. There comes a point in your life where you must stop letting guilt make your decisions. You must stop keeping connections alive just because you've known someone for years. Time doesn't mean trust. History doesn't mean health. If someone is consistently making you feel less, making you feel unheard, or making your days heavier instead of lighter, you have to ask yourself, why am I still holding on? You're allowed to walk away from relationships that hurt you. You're allowed to create distance without giving an explanation. You're allowed to change the way you interact with people. If the old way has been hurting your peace, you're not cold for protecting your energy. You're not selfish for choosing yourself. You're smart, you're strong, and you're finally taking your life seriously. You've been through enough. You've sacrificed your sleep, your happiness, your focus, trying to keep other people calm. You've stayed in conversations too long. You've held back your thoughts just to avoid conflict. You've said yes when everything in your gut screamed no. You've played peacemaker, but it's left you burned out. And if you're honest, you know it hasn't worked. You can't fix people who don't want to change. You can't carry people who won't walk on their own. You can't teach people to care about you by tolerating their disrespect. Peace comes when you stop explaining yourself to people who aren't listening. It comes when you finally make space for what you need instead of what they want. It comes when you say, enough, I can't do this anymore. And not out of anger, not to prove a point, but because you've finally seen the truth. Your life is better without the noise. If someone makes you feel anxious every time you speak, that's not peace. If someone constantly criticizes you, manipulates you, or drains you emotionally, that's not love. That's not connection. That's control. That's chaos. And you deserve better. You're not made for a life of tension. You're not meant to always be recovering from someone else's mood. You're not here to be a punching bag for people who can't regulate their own emotions. You have dreams. You have goals. You have a future that needs your full attention. You need your energy, not just to survive the day, but to build something better. Imagine waking up and not feeling that weight in your chest. Imagine being around people who lift you instead of making you feel like you're never enough. Imagine having space in your mind to think, to create, to breathe. That's what peace feels like. And it's only possible when you stop entertaining people who poison your environment. Some people only come to your life to test your boundaries. Some people only show up to drain what they see in you. And it's not your job to keep giving. Your job is to protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Your peace is your clarity. Your peace is your strength. Your peace is the space where your real thoughts live. And the longer you allow someone to disrupt it, the harder it is to hear yourself. That's why you've been confused. That's why you've felt stuck. That's why it feels like you're always putting out fires. You've allowed too many people to camp out in your mind who don't belong there. It doesn't matter how close they are. It doesn't matter how long you've known them. If they don't bring value to your life, if they don't respect your boundaries, your time, your values, it's okay to walk away. You don't have to make a scene. You don't have to explain. Just leave the door closed and move forward. And don't let guilt stop you. Guilt is one of the strongest weapons people use to keep you stuck. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're being unfair. But you know your truth. You know how many times you gave them a chance. You know how many times you tried to keep things together. You know how much energy it took just to stay in that connection. People who love you don't drain you. They don't make you doubt your worth. They don't use your kindness as a weakness. They don't make you feel like a burden for having needs. And if someone in your life is doing that, it's time to choose differently. Start with small decisions. Say no when you want to say no. End conversations that go in circles. Spend less time around people who always need something from you, but never ask how you're doing. Block the number if you have to. Mute the notifications. Take the space you need to heal, to rest, to remember who you are without all the noise. You're not weak for walking away. You're not heartless for protecting yourself. You're finally honoring the truth inside of you that says, I deserve more than this. And the more you choose peace, the clearer your mind gets. The more you protect your space, the stronger your spirit becomes. You start to think better. You start to move with purpose. You start to smile again without faking it. You don't need 100 people to support you. You just need a few who bring calm, not chaos. And if that means being alone for a while, so be it. Solitude is not punishment. It's space to breathe, space to reconnect with yourself, space to clean out the mess that others left behind. You'll be surprised how much lighter life feels when you stop carrying people who were never meant to be in your life long term. You'll realize how much noise you've been absorbing, how much pressure you've been tolerating, and you'll finally understand that peace is not something you chase. It's something you choose. You don't get more peace by controlling people. You don't get more peace by fixing toxic relationships. You get peace by stepping out of the fire and refusing to go back in. And yes, it hurts sometimes. It's not easy to let go of people who were once close to you. But ask yourself, have they been close to your heart or just close to your time? Have they helped you grow or have they kept you stuck? Every day you allow someone to drain you. You delay your progress. Every time you ignore your gut, just to keep the peace with someone else. You break your own trust. And eventually that disconnection from yourself becomes a bigger problem than any relationship ever will. You have to take your peace seriously. You have to take your energy seriously. If someone wouldn't let a stranger walk into their house and destroy their space, why would you let someone destroy your mental space every single day? Start clearing out the emotional clutter. Start noticing who brings tension to your life, who makes you feel like you're constantly on edge, who always seems to take more than they give. And once you know, make the decision to choose your peace. Not next year, not when it's easier. Now, because you've got things to do, you've got work to finish, you've got goals to reach, you've got a life to live. And it won't happen if you're constantly recovering from emotional damage caused by the wrong people. Heal yourself by walking away from the noise. Build yourself by choosing your energy wisely. Rise by making decisions that serve your long-term peace, not short-term comfort. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. You don't owe anyone a seat at your table if they're always flipping it over. You've got one life. Protect it, build it, and surround yourself with people who respect the calm you've created. Your peace matters. Your mind matters. Your emotional health matters. And every time you choose peace over drama, over chaos, over manipulation, you're reminding yourself that you matter too. Keep doing that. Keep choosing peace. Keep moving forward. Your future depends on it. Number 4, stop chasing love and start creating your own joy. If you spend your life chasing love, you'll always feel empty. Not because love isn't important, but because chasing it makes you forget the one thing that matters most, yourself. And when you ignore yourself for too long, you lose the ability to feel real joy. Not the kind that comes from someone else's attention, but the kind that comes from deep inside you. You start to think that love from others will complete you, fix you, or make your life finally feel full. But it doesn't work like that. Love doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. You must stop searching for someone to make you feel worthy. You must stop giving away your energy just to get affection. You must stop turning yourself into a version someone else might like. Because the more you do that, the more disconnected you become from who you really are. And when you lose that connection, you lose your power. You don't need someone to pick you. You don't need someone to say you're lovable. You don't need a relationship to prove you matter. You were enough the day you were born. You were whole before anyone ever saw you. And you'll still be whole when people walk away. Real joy doesn't come from someone texting you first. It doesn't come from a compliment. It doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from building a life that feels good to you with or without someone else in it. It comes from waking up with purpose, going to bed with peace, and knowing that what you did with your day actually meant something to you. You've been taught that love is everything, that without it life is missing something. But what they didn't tell you is that chasing love without building your own foundation is dangerous. It makes you needy. It makes you desperate. It makes you accept things you don't deserve. You'll tolerate disrespect. You'll ignore your values. You'll become silent just to keep someone close. That's not love. That's fear. That's survival. And that will never bring joy. You deserve better than chasing people who don't see your value. You deserve better than settling for shallow connections that leave you drained. You deserve better than begging for love in places where you're not respected. If you have to chase it, it's not real. If you have to earn it through pain, it's not healthy. And if you can't breathe in it, it's not love. Start putting your focus where it belongs, on your own joy, on your growth, on your healing, on your journey, on what you love doing, on how you feel in your own presence. Because when you build a life that excites you, you stop needing others to fill the gaps. Go do the things you've been holding back on. Go travel even if you're going alone. Go to the class. Learn the skill. Start the business. Move to the place you've always dreamed of. Do things that matter to you. Not because someone else is watching, not because it will impress anyone, but because you finally decided that your joy is your job. The more you live for yourself, the less you depend on others to make you feel alive. You start realizing that you can enjoy a day without texting anyone. You can have a peaceful night without needing a relationship to validate it. You can laugh by yourself. You can celebrate your small wins, even when no one claps. That's power. That's maturity. That's what real joy looks like. It's not loud. It's not always shared on social media. It's not about likes or attention. It's about waking up with clear thoughts, feeling proud of how you carry yourself, and knowing that you didn't have to compromise your soul to feel good. When you chase love, you put your worth in someone else's hands. When you create joy, you take that power back. You stop waiting for someone to tell you you're lovable. You stop hoping that someone will fix your life. You stop pretending to be someone you're not just to keep a connection. And here's the truth. When you stop chasing, the right kind of love finds you. The kind that sees your light, not just your appearance. The kind that doesn't make you perform for affection. The kind that respects your space. The kind that feels safe, not because you begged for it, but because you attracted it by being whole. Don't live your life hoping someone chooses you. Choose yourself. Build a life so rich in meaning that when love comes, it's a bonus, not a rescue. Let it come when you're already fulfilled, not when you're empty. Let it come when you're steady, not when you're desperate. Let it come to a person who knows who they are and doesn't need love to survive. Some people won't understand this. They'll say you're too independent. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you don't care. But that's because they've never experienced what it feels like to be full on their own. They've never learned how to enjoy their own company. They've never faced themselves fully. And that's not your problem. That's their journey. You have the right to be happy without being in love. You have the right to enjoy your life without needing to explain why you're still single. You have the right to invest in yourself without feeling guilty. You have the right to stop looking and start building. And you don't have to wait for a perfect day to start. Start where you are. Start small. Pick one thing that brings you joy and do it with intention. Wake up tomorrow and do something just for you. Not to get someone's attention. Not to impress anyone. Just because you matter. Just because your life is worth living fully. Stop watching others fall in love and thinking you're missing out. You're not. You're just in a different season. And this season is about you. This is your time to understand your heart. This is your time to clean out the noise. This is your time to enjoy the silence that comes when you're not chasing anything. Create your own moments. Make your space beautiful. Spend time in nature. Write your thoughts. Move your body. Cook your meals. Read the books. Build your habits. These little things, they matter. They build the kind of joy that no one can take away from you. When you stop chasing love, you stop settling. You stop clinging to people who are half available. You stop hoping someone will come and fill your loneliness. Instead, you face it. You deal with it. You grow through it. And you come out stronger. That strength turns into calm. That calm turns into clarity. That clarity becomes joy. And then, without even trying, you become someone who glows without needing attention. You become someone who walks into a room and doesn't need to be noticed to feel seen. You become someone who can love others fully without losing yourself in the process. This kind of joy, it's not loud. It's not explosive. It's deep. It's steady. It carries you through the highs and lows. And it's built one choice at a time. The choice to stop waiting for someone to make you happy. The choice to stop believing that love is the only thing that matters. The choice to stop comparing your path to everyone else's. The choice to stop putting your life on hold. The choice to stop saying, "I'll be happy," when. The choice to stop blaming others for what's missing inside you. Start choosing yourself. Not because you're giving up on love, but because you're giving up on needing it to survive. Because you finally understand that love is not something you beg for. It's something you share when you already have something to give. When you reach this place, something shifts. You're no longer afraid of being alone. You stop chasing people who don't choose you back. You stop lowering your standards. You stop proving your worth. You stop bending your values to make someone stay. You rise, quietly, calmly, confidently. And one day, love may come. Real love. A love that doesn't ask you to shrink. A love that fits into your life without taking it over. A love that respects your joy and doesn't try to replace it. But until then, and even after, you're okay. Because you've already learned the most important thing. You don't chase love. You create joy. You live fully. And you don't wait to be loved to start living. Start now. Don't wait for a new year. Don't wait for someone to come back. Don't wait for the perfect time. Build your joy every day, in small ways, in big ways, in ways that matter to you. You deserve it. You always have. Now act like it. Number 5. Stand strong when others try to control you. People will always try to control what they don't understand. They'll try to shape you into who they want you to be, instead of letting you grow into who you really are. And if you don't know how to stand strong, they'll succeed. Not because they're stronger than you, but because you gave them the power to decide your path. Standing strong doesn't mean being aggressive. It doesn't mean fighting back with noise. It means staying rooted in your values, your beliefs, and your direction. Even when someone else tries to twist you into something you're not. It means recognizing when someone is trying to manipulate your decisions, your emotions, your identity, and refusing to shrink for their comfort. Some people will never support your independence because they need you to depend on them to feel important. They'll question your confidence. They'll doubt your choices. They'll guilt trip you for choosing a different path. Not because they care about your success, but because they care about keeping control. Control shows up in subtle ways. It's the friend who gets distant when you don't do what they want. It's the partner who gets angry when you have your own opinion. It's the family member who constantly criticizes your dreams and tells you you're wrong for thinking big. At first, it looks like concern. It sounds like advice. But look deeper. If someone constantly makes you question your ability to lead your own life, that's not love, that's control. When you start standing up for yourself, don't expect people to cheer you on. Don't expect them to say, "Good job, you're finally living on your own terms." That won't happen. Instead, they'll push back harder. They'll say you've changed. They'll call you difficult. They'll try to convince you that you're being selfish because your strength threatens their grip on you. And here's where most people break. They start to second guess. They go back to pleasing others. They start softening their voice. They start hiding their truth again just to avoid conflict. That's how people get stuck living someone else's life. Not because they wanted to, but because they never learned how to stay firm under pressure. You can't grow if you keep shrinking for people who fear your growth. You can't stay centered if you keep bending to stay likable. You can't stay mentally strong if your identity depends on keeping everyone else happy. You have to choose your peace or their control, your vision or their approval, your truth or their comfort. The moment you stop being easy to control, you'll see people's true intentions. Some will support you, others will resist. Not everyone can handle a version of you that speaks up, takes charge, and stops asking for permission. That version of you is powerful. That version of you is grounded, and it scares the people who could once twist your emotions to get their way. Stand strong without raising your voice. Stand strong by staying calm in the face of pressure. Stand strong by walking away from conversations that turn into traps. You don't have to prove your strength through arguments. You prove it by staying unshaken when others try to provoke you. You prove it by refusing to betray yourself to keep the peace. People who try to control you want you confused. They want you tired. They want you to keep doubting your instincts so that they can step in and direct your life. But once you wake up to that game, you win by no longer playing. You win by trusting your judgment. You win by setting boundaries that don't move just because someone gets uncomfortable. You don't owe anyone access to your life. If someone doesn't respect your decisions, they don't deserve a front row seat. If someone consistently undermines you, limit their influence. If someone only supports you when you're obedient, question why they want you in their life at all. Control can feel like love when you've never experienced healthy freedom. It can feel like guidance when you've never trusted your voice. That's why people stay in toxic cycles, not because they enjoy it, but because it feels familiar. But just because it feels normal doesn't mean it's right. Normal can be damaging, comfortable can be destructive, And people can use love as a tool to keep you small. When someone's love comes with conditions, it's not real love. If you have to follow their rules to feel safe, you're not in a relationship. You're in a cage. And that cage might be decorated with kind words, but it still limits your spirit. You're not here to live in a version of life where you're tolerated only when you behave the way they expect. Stand strong even when your voice shakes. Stand strong even if no one stands with you. Stand strong because your freedom is worth more than temporary approval. It's not easy to break away from someone's control, especially if it's been happening for a long time. But every step you take toward freedom is a step toward knowing yourself again. Start small. Say no without over-explaining. Take time to think before agreeing. Speak your opinion even if you're the only one who sees things that way. Stand by your choices even if people don't understand them. It's not about being rebellious. It's about being responsible for your own life. You can't keep giving up your power just to keep others from feeling uncomfortable. That's not kindness. That's self-betrayal. And every time you do it, you lose a little more of your own voice. Reclaim it. Bring it back. Speak with clarity. Move with purpose. Live without apology. There's nothing wrong with listening to others. But when someone's voice starts to drown out your own, that's a problem. Advice should guide, not dominate. Love should support, not control. Connection should empower, not restrict. And you should never feel like you're being held hostage by someone else's opinion of who you should be. People who love control don't love people. They love the feeling of power. They don't care about your growth. They care about your obedience. Don't confuse control with leadership. A leader lifts. A controller suppresses. A leader gives space. A controller fills that space with fear and doubt. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you feel the tight grip loosening, you'll never want to go back. You'll begin to understand how much of your life has been shaped by fear of disappointing others. You'll see how often you made yourself small just to keep things calm. You'll realize how many decisions you made out of fear, not freedom. You don't have to explain yourself to people who never listen. You don't have to soften your truth just because someone might get upset. You're allowed to grow past the version of you they were comfortable controlling. That's not betrayal. That's transformation. And the people who genuinely care for you, they'll celebrate your strength. They won't try to bring you back down. They won't mock your confidence. They won't guilt you for having a spine. They'll respect your path, even if they don't understand it. They'll walk with you, not above you. You have to decide what kind of life you want to live. One where you constantly shrink to be acceptable, or one where you expand into the person you were meant to be. That decision comes with a cost, but the price of standing strong is always less than the cost of staying weak for the sake of keeping others happy. This world will try to make you forget who you are. It will throw noise at you. It will offer distractions, rewards, punishments, anything to keep you from rising. But the strongest people are the ones who stay grounded. Not because they're perfect, but because they've chosen to stop being controlled. Make that choice. Be someone who listens to their own inner compass. Be someone who doesn't back down the moment pressure shows up. Be someone who walks away from manipulation. Be someone who draws the line clearly and confidently. You're not here to be easy to manage. You're here to live with strength. You're here to protect your future from people who want to shape it for you. You're here to build a life that reflects your truth, not their fears. And no one gets to control your truth, but you. Keep that truth close. Stand by it. Defend it. No matter how many people try to twist it, you're not living for approval. You're not living to be owned. You're living to be free. That freedom starts when you stand strong and say, I decide every day, in every situation, with every person, stand strong. Stand alone, if you have to. But never again let someone else write your life for you. This is your story. Own it completely. Number 6, break free from needing attention to feel worthy. That your value rises or falls based on who notices you is what's keeping you stuck. It's what's keeping you chasing validation, staying anxious, and doubting yourself every time you're not seen. And it's one of the most dangerous patterns people fall into. Because the moment your worth depends on external approval, you give away the power to feel whole. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not invisible. You've just been trained to think that your importance comes from how much attention you receive. You've been conditioned to associate being noticed with being valued. So when no one calls, when no one compliments you, when no one reacts to your presence, you start feeling like you're not enough. But that's not reality. That's a mind trap built from years of emotional programming. You learned it in childhood, when being praised meant you were good, and being ignored meant something was wrong. You saw it at school, when the loud kids got attention, and the quiet ones got left behind. You absorbed it through social media, where likes, comments, and followers became the scoreboard for self-worth. And over time, your mind got used to the idea that being seen was the same as being valuable. But here's the truth. Attention doesn't equal worth. It never did. The most valuable things in the world often go unnoticed. The most secure people don't need to be praised constantly. The strongest people are the ones who can sit in silence and still feel full. You don't need to prove your value by being loud. You don't need to constantly share your thoughts online to feel relevant. You don't need everyone to agree with you to feel confident. And you don't need a spotlight to know that what you bring to the table matters. If you always need attention to feel worthy, your emotions will always be controlled by other people's reactions. If they notice you, you feel good. If they don't, you feel empty. That's not freedom. That's emotional dependence. And it's time to break it. You have to learn how to validate yourself. Not with empty affirmations, but with real evidence. Look at your consistency. Look at your resilience. Look at the moments you kept going when nobody clapped. Look at the strength it took to show up when no one was watching. That is worth. That is power. And no one has to see it for it to be real. When you stop needing attention to feel worthy, everything changes. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop checking who noticed you. You stop chasing visibility. Instead, you build quietly. You move with calm. You create without craving applause. And the results start to speak for themselves. This isn't about isolating yourself or pretending you don't care. It's about not being addicted to external validation. It's about getting to a place where your self-respect is stable, where your identity is rooted in your own values, and where your confidence doesn't rise and fall with other people's moods. Start asking yourself, what would I do today if I didn't need anyone to notice it? Would you still show up? Would you still take care of yourself? Would you still build what matters? Because that answer tells you everything. That answer reveals where your worth is being placed. Do things because they align with your goals. Take action because you respect yourself. Show up because you're committed to growth. Not because you're trying to get a reaction. Not because you need to be admired. Not because you want someone to say, good job. That kind of validation is temporary. It fades, it turns into pressure, and it makes your actions less about progress and more about performance. You don't have to perform to be worthy. You don't have to entertain to be accepted. You don't have to be seen to be important. You were born valuable. You were born complete. And that truth doesn't change based on how much attention you receive today. Think about how much energy you waste trying to be visible. Think about the pressure to always be interesting, to always be liked, to always be noticed. That pressure eats away at your focus. It clouds your decisions. It makes you overthink every word, every post, every step. And it creates a version of you that's dependent on being noticed to feel okay. But when you let go of that need, you become unstoppable. You move in silence. You focus on what matters. You stop chasing people's approval and start creating results that speak louder than any compliment ever could. This is about reclaiming your emotional independence. It's about teaching your brain that attention is not food, that you don't need to be seen to survive, that your value isn't up for public vote. The world can be loud. It can distract you. It can trick you into thinking that being overlooked means you're behind. But the truth is, some of the most powerful growth happens in silence. Growth happens in the gym before anyone sees the results. It happens in the quiet morning routines that no one claps for. It happens in the long nights where you keep going, even though no one is watching. That's where real worth is built. In the places without applause. In the seasons without attention. In the work that goes unnoticed but never goes wasted. Start rewiring the way you see yourself. Start looking for inner signals instead of outer signs. Are you proud of how you handled that situation? Are you keeping promises to yourself? Are you building a life that aligns with your values? Those are the questions that lead to real confidence. Not did they like my post, or did they text me back? Build a relationship with yourself that isn't based on being admired. Build it on truth, on integrity, on effort, on consistency. And the more you do that, the less you care about who's watching. This shift will challenge you. Your mind will resist. It'll say, "But don't I matter more if I'm noticed?" That's a lie you learned. That's a script you've been repeating. And it's time to delete it. You matter because you exist. You matter because you breathe. You matter because you're trying. That's enough. Attention is not a cure for insecurity. If you don't believe in yourself, no amount of praise will fix that. You'll always feel like it's not enough. You'll always feel like you have to earn more. And that cycle never ends until you decide to step off the ride. You don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to chase it. You don't need to base your identity on it. You are not a product to be consumed. You are not a brand, you are a human being. And your peace, your purpose, your personal growth should not depend on how visible you are. It's okay to want to be seen. That's human. But don't build your identity around it. Build it around what you stand for, what you believe in, how you treat people, how you treat yourself, what you contribute when no one's looking. Start living your life like you already matter. Start speaking to yourself like you're already valuable. Start making decisions like you don't need to prove anything. Because the minute you stop needing attention to feel worthy is the minute you become truly free. And once you taste that freedom, you'll never want to go back. You'll stop overthinking your worth. You'll stop tying your confidence to social response. You'll stop adjusting your personality to get more eyes on you. Instead, you'll live fully, authentically, peacefully. You'll be grounded. You'll be calm. You'll be powerful. Not because everyone sees it, but because you know it. And that knowing is worth more than 1,000,000 likes. This is the life you've been trying to build. Not one where you're addicted to being noticed, but one where you're proud of who you are, even in the quiet. That's the life that lasts. That's the confidence that no one can take from you. And it starts with one decision to break free from the lie that says you have to be seen to matter. You don't, you already matter. Now live like it. Number 7, focus daily on your goals, not their opinions. The opinions of others will never build your future. They will never put money in your pocket. They will never create discipline in your routine. And they will never finish what you start. That's your job. Every single day, you have a decision to make. Focus on your goals or focus on what they think about you, but you can't do both. You can't move forward while constantly turning your head to check who's watching or judging. That kind of divided attention kills progress. People will always have opinions. They'll talk whether you succeed or fail. They'll criticize whether you try or do nothing. And if you spend your time responding to every comment, adjusting your path just to keep others comfortable, you'll end up exhausted and going nowhere. That's the trap. Trading your direction for their approval. If you want real progress, you have to develop tunnel vision. Not blindness, not arrogance, but strong, intentional focus. You have to train your mind to lock in on your goals and treat outside noise like background music. You can hear it, but you don't follow it. You don't let it dictate your moves. You stay locked on your path because your life depends on it. The truth is, most people who have opinions about your life aren't even doing anything with theirs. They're not waking up early to grind. They're not sacrificing comfort for growth. They're not pushing through fear to build something meaningful. So why do their words matter? Why let their comments get in your head? Why allow their judgment to slow you down? You don't owe anyone an explanation for your goals. You don't need approval to dream big. You don't have to justify your hustle to people who wouldn't lift a finger to help you build. If it matters to you, it's enough. If it gives your life purpose, it's worth it. And if it's your vision, it's your responsibility to protect it from the outside world. Your mind is your most powerful tool. But if you fill it with opinions instead of strategy, if you clutter it with worry about what people might think, you weaken your momentum. Every goal needs attention. It needs time. It needs clarity. You can't give it that if your head is full of noise from people who have no skin in your game. You have to start showing up for yourself, like your life depends on it, because it does. Stop checking your phone for validation. Stop looking over your shoulder for approval. Stop explaining your every move to people who don't even understand your vision. You're not here to entertain them. You're here to become who you were meant to be. And that takes work. Daily work. It's not enough to talk about it. It's not enough to wish for it. You need action, discipline, consistency. And all of that requires mental focus, not the kind of focus that lasts 5 minutes. The kind that shows up when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when no one believes in you. That's when real focus is tested. You think it's easy to block out opinions? It's not. You'll hear the doubt in their voice. You'll notice when they stop supporting you. You'll feel the shift when they distance themselves. And in that moment, you'll be tempted to slow down just to feel safe. But safety kills dreams. Comfort weakens character. And opinions, if you follow them, will pull you off your path and leave you wondering why nothing changes. Focus is not a feeling. It's a choice. You choose to wake up and do what matters. You choose to keep going when you don't feel like it. You choose to work in silence instead of broadcasting your every move. You choose to commit to your own mission without asking for applause. Let people misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. None of that matters if you stay locked in. What matters is what you're building. What matters is how you're growing. What matters is whether your future self will thank you or regret the time you wasted worrying about what didn't matter. And here's something to understand about human behavior. Most people don't even think about you as much as you think they do. They're caught up in their own worries, their own problems, their own insecurities. But your mind makes you believe their opinion is powerful. That belief becomes a block, and it's a lie. You don't need to silence the world to find peace. You just need to get stronger mentally. Train your thoughts to align with your goals. Rewire the part of you that seeks comfort in being liked. Replace it with the part of you that finds pride in being consistent. Learn to feel satisfied from effort, not recognition. That's the mindset that gets results. You have limited time. You have limited energy. And you have a window of opportunity. Waste that on people's opinions, and you lose. Lock into your goals, and you win. Slowly, surely, and consistently. You don't have to move fast. You just have to move forward every day with purpose. This is how you take your power back. When you no longer give weight to their opinions. When you no longer wait for them to understand. When you no longer pause your progress just to get noticed. You become focused. And when you're focused, you're dangerous. That kind of focus builds confidence. It builds resilience. It gives you direction when you're confused. It gives you clarity when everything feels uncertain. Because when you're clear on your goals, the outside world loses its grip on you. Look at your day. How much of your time goes to building your dream? How much of it goes to pleasing others? How much of it goes to checking, scrolling, reacting? Be honest, because your life is a reflection of where your energy goes. Redirect that energy to what matters. Build habits that protect your goals. Get up early if you need to. Turn off distractions. Spend more time planning than explaining. Work in silence. Track your own progress. Celebrate the little wins privately. Not everything needs to be seen. Not everyone needs to understand. The more you feed your goals, the less you need attention from the outside. You don't become unstoppable by being liked. You become unstoppable by staying focused when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's boring, when it doesn't feel good. That's when real transformation happens. Not when people are clapping, but when you're grinding in silence. And don't fall into the trap of needing validation from the same people who would never work like you do. Most people want success without sacrifice. They want results without the work. You're different. You understand that the grind isn't supposed to be glamorous. It's supposed to be consistent. That's what builds results. That's what creates pride. Every day you wake up, you have two choices. Feed your goals or feed your ego. The ego wants to be liked. The ego wants approval. The ego wants comfort. Your mission wants action. Your mission wants discipline. Your mission wants commitment. Make your decision. Every hour, every day. You don't need to respond to every opinion. You don't need to correct every misunderstanding. You don't need to be liked to be great. You just need to stay focused. Show up. Do the work. Let results do the talking. And when they see the change, when they see the results, when they realize you didn't stop, you won't need to say a word. Your focus will have said everything. Number 8. Protect your time by saying no without guilt. Your time is not a donation. It's not something you hand out to anyone who asks. It's the most limited thing you have. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back. You can earn back money. You can rebuild energy. But when time is gone, it's gone forever. And the people who understand this live very differently from the people who don't. They move with clarity. They protect their hours like their life depends on it, because it does. If you want to grow, to build something that matters, to live a life that feels right, you must learn to say no, and you must do it without guilt. Guilt has trained you to betray yourself. You say yes when you don't want to. You agree to things that leave you drained. You overextend yourself for people who would never do the same for you. You push your goals to the side just to keep the peace. And every time you do that, you teach yourself that your time doesn't matter, that your boundaries don't count, that your feelings can wait. And the more you live like that, the more you lose touch with your own purpose. Saying no isn't selfish. It's responsible. It's honest. It's a sign that you've stopped being controlled by people's expectations. It means you've finally realized your future is shaped by what you allow into your schedule. If you keep giving hours to distractions, to guilt-driven commitments, to things that don't bring any value, you'll end up with a life full of regret. You're not here to be available to everyone. You're not here to carry other people's weight at the cost of your own sanity. You're not here to say yes out of fear. You're here to protect your focus, your energy, your mental space. And that means not everyone gets access to you. Not every request deserves a response. Not every call needs to be returned right away. The moment you start saying no without over-explaining, you'll feel a shift. At first it feels uncomfortable. You'll feel the pull of old habits, the pressure to keep people happy, the discomfort of putting yourself first. But if you sit with that discomfort long enough, something powerful happens. You start to feel free. You begin to reclaim the hours you were giving away. You begin to see how much time you used to waste trying to keep up with people who never even cared if you were okay. You don't need to apologize for valuing your own time. You don't need to feel bad for choosing rest over obligation. You don't need to make excuses when someone asks for your time and it doesn't align with your priorities. A simple no is enough. You don't owe a detailed explanation. You don't need to lie or soften the truth. You just need to decide, does this request serve my growth, my health, my mission? If the answer is no, then the response is no. And the more you practice this, the stronger you get. The guilt starts to fade. The fear of being misunderstood becomes easier to handle. And what's left is clarity. You wake up with more space. You go to bed with less stress. Your calendar begins to reflect your values instead of everyone else's demands. People who get upset when you say no were benefiting from your inability to set boundaries. They liked it better when you were always available. They liked the version of you that didn't prioritize yourself. But that version was burning out. That version was breaking inside. That version was always behind on their own goals. And that's not the life you're here to live. You have to remind yourself that protecting your time is not rejection. It's direction. Every no is a yes to something that matters more. Every no is a yes to your peace, your focus, your dreams. You can't say yes to everything and expect to grow. Growth requires focus, and focus requires space. If your day is filled with things you didn't want to do, then you're not living. You're just reacting. Start getting honest about what drains you. Look at your calendar. Look at your texts. Look at how often you say yes just to avoid a reaction. And then ask yourself, what is this costing me? How many things have I delayed? How many goals have I ignored? How many times have I canceled on myself just to be there for someone else's convenience? It's not about shutting people out. It's about building a life with intention. You can still love people and say no. You can still care and have boundaries. You can still be kind and choose yourself. These things are not opposites. They're required if you want to be mentally and emotionally well. You teach people how to treat your time. If you keep saying yes out of guilt, they'll keep expecting it. If you say yes once, they'll come back and ask again. That pattern doesn't change until you do. You have to retrain your environment by setting new standards. Not with anger, but with calm. Not with guilt, but with confidence. The people who respect you will adjust. The ones who don't will fall off. Either way, you win. You don't have to rush into it. Start with one boundary, one no, one moment where you choose your time over someone else's urgency. Then do it again and again. Each time your self-respect grows. Each time your confidence gets stronger. Each time you get one step closer to a life that feels like your own. You were not put here to be a permanent helper for everyone else's schedule. You were not born to be the person who's always available, always flexible, always sacrificing. That story needs to end, because the longer you live it, the more your own dreams fade into the background. And one day, if you're not careful, you'll look up and realize your life was spent doing everything what mattered to you. Don't let that happen. Protect your mornings, protect your evenings, protect your weekends, protect your creative time, protect your healing time, protect the quiet moments that help you recharge, and never feel guilty for that. You're allowed to take space. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to say no without softening the truth, to make it easier to hear. No is not a bad word. It's a decision. It's a filter. It's a tool. Use it to shape a life that supports your best self. Use it to remove distractions. Use it to stay on track. Say it clearly. Say it calmly. And say it without guilt. You don't owe people your exhaustion. You don't owe them your availability. You don't owe them your time just because they ask for it. Your life has purpose, and that purpose needs your attention. It needs your protection. And it starts with owning your time like it actually matters, because it does. The ones who truly care about you will understand. The ones who respect you will adapt, and the ones who don't, they were never truly in your corner. Because anyone who gets angry, when you prioritize your mental health, your goals, your boundaries, they were only ever interested in what you could give them. Stand firm in your decisions. Say no with honesty. Say no with strength. Say no with peace in your voice and purpose in your heart. Because the more you practice this, the more your life starts to reflect who you really are, not who you felt pressured to be. You'll start seeing results. You'll get more done. You'll feel lighter. You'll have more clarity. Your days will feel more meaningful. Not because you did more, but because you did what mattered. That's the power of protecting your time. So don't wait. Don't keep saying yes while your own life slips by. Don't keep agreeing to things that drain you. Start now. Reclaim your time. Guard your energy. And say no, not with guilt, but with confidence. Because your time is not a donation. It's your future. And it's worth protecting. Number 9. Develop habits that make you proud of yourself. The way you feel about yourself is not based on what you say. It's based on what you do consistently. You can talk all day about your goals, your dreams, your plans, but if your habits don't match those words, you'll feel empty. That emptiness becomes frustration. That frustration turns into self-doubt. And before long, you don't trust yourself anymore. That's what happens when your actions and your intentions are not in alignment. The fastest way to build self-respect is to do things that make you proud. Not big dramatic things, not once in a while impressive things. Daily things, small things, quiet choices that nobody sees but you. Waking up when you said you would, finishing what you started, showing up even when you feel tired, taking care of your health without needing motivation, making progress without waiting for permission. Those habits repeated over time change the way you see yourself. Most people live in cycles of guilt. They promise themselves they'll change. They say tomorrow will be different. They talk about discipline, about improvement, about growth. But when the alarm goes off, they hit snooze. When it's time to work, they scroll. When it's time to move forward, they procrastinate. And after enough of those decisions, they don't even feel like themselves anymore. Because deep down, they know they're not living in a way that earns respect from the one person that matters, themselves. You don't build pride by being perfect. You build it by being consistent. You build it by doing hard things on easy days. You build it by choosing responsibility when it's easier to make excuses. And once you start, something shifts inside you. You begin to feel stronger, not because you're doing anything huge, but because you're finally keeping your word to yourself. The key is to stop chasing motivation and start building structure. Motivation is unreliable. It shows up when it wants, but structure, that's something you create. That's something you control. You don't need to feel like it. You need to commit to it. A real habit doesn't wait for inspiration. It runs on discipline. Look at your routine. Is it building the person you want to be? Are your days designed around progress or distractions? Are you living with intention or just reacting? These are the questions that will tell you everything. Because the truth is, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. If your daily actions are weak, your results will be too. Build simple habits that move you forward. Get up at the same time every day. Make your bed, drink water before you touch your phone. Exercise. Even if it's just for 10 minutes. Read something that challenges your thinking. Plan your day with intention. End your night without chaos. These are not fancy things, but they build momentum. And momentum builds belief. You won't feel proud of yourself if you keep quitting on your promises. Every time you say you'll do something and don't follow through, you chip away at your own confidence. That voice in your head stops believing you. It starts whispering, you never stick with it anyway. And if you listen to that voice long enough, it becomes your identity. But you can rewrite that voice. You can start over today, one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one win at a time. And the more you stack those wins, the more your inner voice changes. It starts saying, you're doing it. It starts saying, this is who you are now. And that shift, that belief, that's where real pride begins. You don't need a major breakthrough to feel better about your life. You need small victories that add up. You need to look back on your week and say, I did what I said I would. That feeling when your actions match your standards is better than any compliment, better than any reward, better than anything someone else can give you. Because it comes from within. Stop trying to change your whole life in one day. Just start with your next choice. Start with the habit you've been avoiding. The one you know would make you feel stronger. The one that you've been putting off because it's not exciting. That habit is the key. That decision is the moment. You don't need to overhaul your life. You need to win the next hour, the next morning, the next day. Ask yourself every night, did I live in a way today that I respect? If the answer is no, adjust. Don't make excuses. Don't explain it away. Fix it. If the answer is yes, build on it. Keep it going. Stack it up. Make it normal. Because what you do consistently becomes who you are. And here's what most people don't understand. You don't need to feel amazing to do the right thing. You don't need to be in the mood. You just need to care enough about your future to do what's necessary. And if you're always waiting to feel ready, you'll always be behind. You have to start acting like your future self is watching you, because that version of you is being built right now. With every choice, with every habit, with every moment you decide to take yourself seriously. You're not just living today, you're building tomorrow. Stop feeding habits that drain you. Stop wasting time on things that don't help you grow. Stop allowing laziness to steal your potential. It's not about being extreme, it's about being honest. Are your habits helping you or hurting you? Are you proud of the way you spend your time? Would your younger self admire who you've become? The people who succeed aren't the ones who had perfect conditions. They're the ones who created routines when life was messy. They built discipline when no one was watching. They didn't wait for the perfect time. They created it with structure, and that structure became strength. You can do the same. You can train your mind to follow through. You can build routines that keep you grounded. You can create a lifestyle that makes you feel proud to be who you are. But it starts with one habit, one day, one choice. No one is coming to do this for you. No one is going to force you to respect your time. No one is going to make you feel disciplined. That's on you. And the good news, you're capable. You're not missing anything. You don't need to be more motivated. You need to be more committed. Commit to becoming someone you respect. Not for the world, not for followers, not for attention, for you. Because living a life that makes you proud is the foundation for every other success. And it's possible. It's available. It's real. You just have to show up for it. And once you do, once you taste what it feels like to live in alignment, you won't want to go back. You won't want to waste time. You won't want to make excuses. You'll feel different. You'll move differently. You'll carry yourself with calm, quiet strength. Not because of what people say, but because of what you know. You know you didn't give up. You know you stayed disciplined. You know you chose growth over comfort. You know you earned your own respect. That's a life worth living. That's a feeling worth chasing. That's a foundation worth building. Start now. Build habits that make you proud to be you. Don't wait. Don't wish. Decide. Act. Repeat. And let your life speak for itself. Number 10. Push yourself forward even when you feel alone. There will be seasons in your life where you feel completely alone. Not just physically, but emotionally. It's the quiet moments when you realize nobody truly understands what you're going through. When your phone stays silent, when support feels far away, when you start questioning everything because it seems like you're walking this road with no one beside you. And in that moment, you face a decision that shapes your future. Do you wait for someone to come help you? Or do you push forward anyway? What most people don't understand is that loneliness isn't always a sign that something's wrong. Sometimes it's the price you pay for choosing yourself. Sometimes it's the space required for real growth. And sometimes it's the very thing that forces you to finally hear your own voice, without all the noise from everyone else. That silence isn't empty. It's full of truth. It's full of lessons. It's full of strength. If you're willing to feel it and not run from it. You don't need a crowd to move. You don't need applause to keep building. You don't need daily check-ins to remind you of your goals. The strongest version of you is the one who shows up, even when no one is watching. The one who doesn't quit, even when it feels pointless. The one who refuses to break just because the path is quiet. The world doesn't reward those who wait to feel supported. It rewards the ones who show up without it. The ones who get up, put their shoes on, and start walking, even if every step feels heavy. That kind of self-leadership is rare. That kind of drive separates people who dream from people who execute. You have to understand this if you want to win in life. No one is coming to carry you. Not because they don't care, but because it's not their job. You're responsible for your future. You're responsible for your energy. You're responsible for your effort. Even when you feel like nobody sees it. Even when it feels like your hard work is invisible. That's the moment that tests everything. That's the place where real grit is built. You have to learn how to speak to yourself when no one else is speaking life into you. You have to be your own support system, your own coach, your own motivator. Not because you don't need others, but because you can't depend on them to do the work for you. You need to know how to push forward on your lowest days, on the quiet days, on the lonely days. It's easy to move when you feel inspired. It's easy to show up when people are cheering for you. But those moments are rare. What's common are the days that feel dull. The mornings where you wake up feeling disconnected. The weeks where nothing seems to move. That's when most people stop. That's when they say, maybe this isn't for me. And they retreat. They pause. They wait. You don't have time to wait. Not for the perfect moment. Not for a cheerleader. Not for someone to tell you you've got this. You have to tell yourself. You have to become the person who doesn't need conditions to stay committed. If it matters to you, you move. Whether someone sees it or not. Whether someone supports it or not. Whether you feel like it or not. You can't keep stopping every time it gets lonely. You can't keep hesitating just because no one else is walking with you. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Not everyone will see your vision. And not everyone is built to go where you're going. That doesn't make you wrong. That doesn't make you broken. That makes you focused. That makes you self-aware. That makes you dangerous in the best way possible. Most people can't handle isolation. They need constant validation, constant company, constant reassurance. But if you want to do something extraordinary with your life, you need to be okay with walking alone. You need to be okay with silence. You need to know how to move without a map, without approval, without company. That's where power lives. That's where growth happens. You build confidence by doing things alone, not by waiting to be rescued. Every time you choose to move forward without support, you become more mentally tough. You stop waiting to be saved. You stop blaming people for not showing up. You start owning everything. Your time, your effort, your results. That shift changes everything. Look at the way you've handled pain in the past. Look at the moments when you kept going even though it hurt. Look at the choices you made when it would have been easier to quit. That's proof. You've already survived more than you give yourself credit for. You've already walked through situations that felt impossible. And you're still here. You're still standing. That means something. That's not luck. That's resilience. You don't need a perfect mindset to push forward. You just need to decide right now. that this is your life, and you're not going to waste it waiting for perfect support. Because if you keep waiting, you'll look back years from now and realize you gave away your power for too long. You gave away your energy trying to feel ready. You handed your strength over to the hope that someone would join you. This is your reminder that you are enough, right now as you are, to move, not next week, not after you feel more secure. Now, you've got ideas, you've got vision, you've got potential. And all of that is wasted if you don't take steps. Don't talk about it. Don't analyze it forever. Move. Push forward, not for the outcome, but for who you become in the process. Push forward, because the only way to build strength is to use it. Push forward, because you owe it to yourself to see what happens when you stop giving up. There's something waiting for you on the other side of consistency, but you'll never find it if you stop halfway every time you feel alone. Keep walking, even when it's quiet, even when you doubt yourself, even when it feels pointless. Because that walk, that lonely path, that's the one that leads to something real. Not everyone will get it. That's okay. Let them watch. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You're not doing this for them. You're doing it because there's a version of you that's been buried under excuses, under distractions, under fear, and it's time to bring that version back to life. There is no magic formula, no secret system, just decisions. Daily, consistent, unshakable decisions. Ones that say, I will not stop. Ones that say, even if I feel nothing, I'm still going. Ones that say, even if I walk alone, I walk with purpose. Don't wait to feel inspired. Get up and move. Don't wait for someone to check in. Hold yourself accountable. Don't wish for a better season. Make this one count. Your life isn't on pause. Time is moving. The days are passing. And your goals don't care how you feel. They only respond to effort. There's a different kind of pride that comes from doing it alone. A deep, quiet pride. The kind that doesn't need to be shouted. The kind that lives in your bones. It's the moment you look in the mirror and say, no one helped me and I still did it. That feeling is earned. And it stays with you forever. So even if no one calls, even if no one says, good job, even if it feels like no one sees what you're building, keep going, because you see it, you feel it, and you know this is the right path. Push forward, through the silence, through the doubt, through the loneliness. Push forward, because you refuse to stay stuck. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you feel. And this moment, this quiet, lonely, difficult moment, this is where your future is being shaped. Don't waste it. Don't retreat. Don't wait. Push yourself forward, even if no one's watching, even if it's slow, even if it hurts. Because that step you take today might just be the one that changes everything. Keep moving. Keep building. Keep becoming. Alone if you must, but never backwards.